Team Arctic Racing. Ride the winning streak. Ever since news of the new 3-cylinder ZRT 600 hit the streets back in November, our competitors have been more than a little nervous. After all, it was the latest in a long line of dominating racing machines from Arctic Cat. The heart and soul of this beast is a power plant that at 8,500 RPMs produces around 125 horsepower. Yet it's lighter and more compact than its brother, the ZRT 800. But building a machine of this caliber isn't easy. It takes drive to be the best, combined with the most technologically advanced engineering on the planet. Then, if an idea is good enough to meet our stringent requirements, we take it to the racetrack, the toughest proving ground for any innovation. And we test our machines on ice, snow, grass, hills, at high altitudes, you name it. Then we watch and listen and learn about not only what we did right, but what needs refinement. Then we go back to the drawing board until we get it right. That way, before a sled ever gets to our customers, you can be sure one of its ancestors has already been put to the ultimate test and passed with flying colors.
The race is probably the ultimate place to get especially a good comparison for performance-wise. It's hard to go out, especially by yourself or just a couple guys, and really test the product for a racetrack. You just can't motivate yourself to the extreme. So a racetrack is a very good place to put a new idea and test it, because you put it to the limit, you put it side by side with the other best products out there.
This year, Team Arctic Racing had another banner season, riding our ideas to victories all across North America. If you don't want to take our word for it, all you have to do is browse the results of the major races.
We had come off a couple good years before. You know, 93 was first year of the ZR. We had some pretty big wins. You know, the I-500 we had won, some key races at Eagle River. We went into 94. We had revamped the 440 ZR. We had a pretty good year that year. Kirk won the ISOC championship again, and some other key cross countries. But we wanted to do one step better, and so going into 95, we had done a lot of work on the 440 ZR. We had a whole new game plan going into the Formula 3 racing scene. You know, we had a very, very good chassis. We needed a motor, and we had the 3-cylinder 600 coming up. Was kept pretty secretive right before race season. So we felt, now we've got a motor plant, we've got a good chassis, we've done a lot of work to improve our 440 ZR, and we had, you know, pretty big hopes and expectations to win some races.
The fact is, we started our string of victories before we even had snow on the ground. At the Snow Barons Heydays World Championship Grass Drags, the world beater ZRs proved their performance prowess. Picking up right where they left off last season, Team Arctic Racers cleaned up in the stock market. In fact, Arctic Cat took highest overall point honors in stock class races and was named the Minnesota Cup winner. When the snow finally arrived, although it was scarce, Team Arctic went right to work burying the competition in MRP snowcross action at Duluth. Team Arctic's Kirk Hibbert used the performance and handling of the ZR440 to lead the charge, edging out teammate Brad Pake to win the Pro Light class and earn the distinction of being named MRP's Racer of the Week. The winning ways continued the following week at the ISOC Cross Country season opener in Pine Lake, where the dynamic duo of Kirk Hibbert and Brad Pake finished 1-2, and Team Arctic grabbed top honors in Legends, Women's and Juniors. Then it was on to more victories at Albertville and Thief River Falls, earning Team Arctic the lead in the ISOC Point Series. Making their presence known in the East, Team Arctic continued the momentum at the Haystack Snowcross race in Wilmington, Vermont. At the Rock Maple Racing Circuit Snowcross opener, Chris Vincent took the Pro Light crown aboard his ZR440. Team Arctic riders also won top honors in the Junior 1, Women 2, and Masters classes. As the victories kept stacking up, Team Arctic was also busy doing their thing at the USSA Ice Ovals in Brainerd. In fact, they set a new precedent as they won each and every stock class race. Team Arctic's Brian Sturgeon and the DeVoe brothers took no prisoners, grabbing A, B, C, D, E, and F stock using everything in the Arctic Cat arsenal. And in its first racing appearance, the new ZRT 600 turned in an outstanding performance, taking 2 of the top 6 places in Formula 3, which of course left no doubt in the mind of Team Arctic's Brian Sturgeon that this powerful, high-tech 3-cylinder machine was going to be geared up and ready for the upcoming World Championships.
We knew we had a great shot to win the A and B stock at Eagle River with the 700 ZR of ours that just runs flawless all the time. And with our 580 EFI, we knew we had a great shot to win that C stock class, but we didn't spend as much time on that machine as we should have been getting prepared for Eagle River. But we knew the sled was capable of winning, and our Formula 3, we knew when we rolled into Eagle River, we knew we had a sled there that could win.
And Sturgeon wasn't the only one with high hopes for the Eagle River World Championships. As Team Arctic's racing director Joey Holstrom remembers,
everybody thought the Skidoo team was going to be the dominant ones. They were the ones that come off from last year with, they were champions, and we really had to kind of knock them off. And I don't think anybody thought we really could do it. A lot of the press was all, yeah, Sturgeon may, but never could come through at Eagle River with the big win. But I think deep down we all knew we were going to be the spoilers, and so we felt pretty confident. The machine had the potential. It handled good. We think we had all our bad luck kind of swept out of the trailer. And so really, I think what happened on Sunday was kind of overwhelming and exciting, but I think we all kind of expected it.
by the time the World Championships at Eagle River came along, nobody at Arctic Cat was real surprised with the results. Team Arctic swept through most of the stock classes, with Sturgeon grabbing A, B, and C stock, while Dan DeVault cleaned up in D stock, E stock, and Mod 1. Then it was finally time for the prestigious Formula 3 shootout, the granddaddy of them all, where manufacturers pit their top machines head-to-head to see which sled is the undisputed champion of the 600 class. So fasten your chin straps and enjoy the race.
Gentlemen, are we ready for the Formula 3 shootout? Start your engine!
They'll give them one trip around the track just to check things out one last time before they go around here for 15 laps for the Formula 3 World Championship. Mike Houle, Normand Pilote, Brian Sturgeon, Dan Peterson, Sylvain Lacroix, Jim Schmidt, Mike Campbell, Mike Caillouette, Jim Herzig, Britt Broman, Wayne Nicholson, and Troy Pierce will go around this track 15 laps to see who is the Formula 3 1995 World Champion.
Can last year's champ, number 22, Mike Houle, do it again? 11 other riders out there saying, I don't think so, Mike. It's our turn. Flagman Ted Otto getting ready to line him up one more time here for the feature race today. Second to the feature race today. Ted says, come on down.
Mike Houle, your defending champion. Normand Pilote finished second to Mike last year. And we're pretty sure that's going to be the battle here today, but don't count any of these other guys out. Brian Sturgeon has already won a championship in stock A, B, and C today. So he's a three-time champion going for 4. Ted brings them to the line. Wayne Nicholson and Troy Pierce in that back row as they came through the semi-feature earlier today and had the opportunity to get into this final field. We're set to go with the World Championship in Formula 3 for 1995. And from the starting line, Sturgeon and Houle get a good shot.
Brian
Watch
Sturgeon
that
and
corner.
Mike Houle battling in the first corner.
Mike Houle on the outside, Sturgeon on the inside as they go into turn number 3.
Rider down in turn 2.
And Houle ducks inside and has the lead after one lap. Sturgeon right behind him.
Oh man, they can't run a race.
And we got a sled down right coming out of turn number 2, and the driver's good skill as they avoid the sled. Now they know where it is. Everybody past that sled. Mike Hool, Brian Sturgeon, Norman Pilat in third. And Mike Campbell holding down the fourth spot. As Campbell slides around the corner, Pilat holds him off. The race at the front is Mike Hool, followed by Brian Sturgeon, telling the sleds to stay on the outside. As Hool goes through turn number 2, as they all go up top of the sled now. Mike Campbell chooses to go underneath. Through the north turn, here comes Mike Hool with the lead. Brian Sturgeon trying to reel him in. Number 3 sled is Norman Pilat with Mike Campbell in the 4th spot. Still having a little problem as they negotiate around that sled out there in turn number 2, but these are very skilled drivers as Hool comes by the start-finish line again. Sturgeon after him. Hool pulling away a little bit down the backstretch. Norman Pilat still holding that 3rd spot. Mike Campbell is number 4 as Hool comes by again. We're going 15 laps for the Formula 3 Championship. And now it's Mike Hool lapping some slower traffic. This is a very tough part of the race for the faster drivers as they have to get by the slower racers. You see that blue flag with the yellow diagonal stripe. That tells drivers that they're being lapped and they should get out of the way. Mike Hool being chased by Brian Sturgeon down the backstretch. Norman Pilat still holding on to 3rd. Mike Campbell still holding on to 4th.
10 Auto crossing the flags, bringing out the halfway mark.
And Hool, followed by Sturgeon. Norman Pilat now, number 3, crossing as we do have some traffic being lapped here as we continue in our Formula 3 final. Mike Hool into turn number 3. Sturgeon staying with him, waiting for Mike to make a mistake. Hool down the front stretch. Sturgeon about 5 sled lengths behind. We have a sled pulling out at the top of the south turn. Sturgeon picked up a little ground on Hool. This one is not over yet. Sturgeon dogging Hool around the north turn. Sturgeon trying to pick up a challenge here as he's closed it to about 2 sled lengths. Let's watch this turn here as there is slower traffic to lap. Hool goes up top. Sturgeon right with him. Sturgeon within a sled length on the backstretch. Sturgeon making a run after him and passing him on the outside. But there's a driver down and Sturgeon had to avoid him. And Hool holds on to the lead. Nice driving by Brian Sturgeon as he avoided that driver. Once again, Sturgeon. Now Sturgeon cuts down on the inside and tries to turn on the horsepower in the backstretch. Brian Sturgeon takes the lead. Ducking down low. Hool going high. Coming down the front stretch, it's Brian Sturgeon with the lead. Mike Hool in second. Now Hool will try to chase down Sturgeon. Both going wide. Brian Sturgeon with more horsepower down the backstretch. Nice bit of driving by Brian Sturgeon as he had to slow down in his first attempt to pass Hool because of a driver on the track. Patiently waited for another lap and took over the lead. Brian Sturgeon followed by Mike Hool. Hool goes high in the turn. Hool may be losing his carbides. Sturgeon down the backstretch into turn number 3. Passing slower traffic, and the white flag is out for Brian Sturgeon. One more lap for Sturgeon. Here comes Mike Hool. Sturgeon with a significant lead now if he can hold the sled together for 1/2 lap. Sturgeon into turn number 3. And out of turn number 4, down the home stretch, checkered flag out. Brian Sturgeon, your winner.
We have a new Formula 3 world champion for 1995. Bo may know football and baseball, but Brian Sturgeon knows Formula 3 racing.
And our champion, Brian Sturgeon, a great race between Sturgeon and Hool today.
When the dust finally settled, nobody doubted who was the best. Brian Sturgeon rode the ZRT 600 Triple in modified racing form to victory. And together with Mike Campbell and Jim Herzig, Team Arctic took 3 of the top 5 positions. proving to the snowmobile world that Arctic Cat 600cc Triple is the most dominating power plant in its class. Sturgeon remembers the day well.
You know, my dad was on the track giving me track signals where I was on the racetrack, and he gave me a tight signal. And the next lap, he gave me a pretty good distance signal. And the third lap I came around, he gave me a real big distance signal. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I was, just listening to the sled and just trying to stay in my same groove that I raced the whole race in, and just don't do anything different. And I got about 20 feet from the finish line, and I started hearing some noises underneath the hood, and all of a sudden I got to about this finish line, and the sled locked up, and everything just locked up, and I just drifted up to the high side of the racetrack just to get out of everyone else's way in case people were coming behind me. And I really wasn't paying attention where I was going. I ended up in the hay bales and went over the handlebars, but I guess at that point I didn't really care what really happened. We won the race, and that was all that mattered.
As if all that winning wasn't enough, it was finally time for the Chevrolet Grand 500 cross-country race, the ultimate test of man and machine. Team Arctic finished 1, 2, 3 as a trio of ZRs crossed the finish line, adding to an already packed trophy case. Brad Pake led the charge, with Jeremy File and Kirk Hibbert right on his tail. Val Schlaben won the women's class, and Paul Dick won Masters.
I remember watching the Winnipeg 500 come through our local town, and never thought I'd be racing in it many years later, but once I started racing snowmobiles, and everybody always talks about how the 500-mile race is the one to win, and I think everybody wants to win that once.
For Team Arctic, this season's string of victories was all just a blur. But then you'd expect nothing less from a bunch of racers who wouldn't let off the throttle for an entire winter. Led by the world beater ZRs and the awesome new ZRT 600 Triple, Team Arctic racers propelled themselves into one of the most amazing years in racing history. Brian Sturgeon was simply unbeatable on the ice ovals, which earned him the Snow Week and Snow Action Racer of the Year titles. Kirk Hibbert became the overall ISOC Cross Country High Points champion for the third year running, which earned him a spot in Snow Week's top 10 racers. Brad Pake grabbed the crown in the grueling Grand 500 and earned himself a place in Snow Week's top 10. Chris Vincent dominated in rock maple racing action all season long, which also earned him a top spot in Snow Week's top 10. Aaron Shield became the season's MRP High Points champion. Mike Knapp earned the title of MSDRS Drag Racing High Points champion. In fact, Ed and Dan DeVault, Val Schlaben, Claude Racine, Paul Dick, Serge Odette, Kevin Mintz, David Rojo, and racers too numerous to mention, spent the season ruining other guys' weekends with an onslaught of first-place finishes. Even Team Arctic manager Joey Holstrom was named Man of the Year by Snow West magazine. We at Arctic Cat couldn't be more proud of the Team Arctic racers and crews who made it all possible. Because while we've stocked up a lot of trophies from just about every kind of racing condition, even more importantly, we've stocked up knowledge. Knowledge that we use to build even better snowmobiles for you. And that's a victory for everyone.